saying? I'd leave it out there, you know.
Try your love one more time. You hurt me when you left me. Now 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 you hurt me when you left me.
We're brothers, we're happy and we're singing and we're colored. Give me a high five.
What is going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco, aka I know I'm gonna get my tail whooped today. I'm here with my brothers from another big game, James and George Carmi. We the best enemies. We back. Yeah. So I'm alone. Yeah, last week at least it was me and James, you know, and then me and George. I'm the one today. I guess I'm the one today that has to eat the crow. Eagles look absolutely trash. But we're gonna talk about it because I'm not just not giving up yet. I'm not just gonna walk away from this team. There's a lot of things that are concerning about this team. Obviously, we had some injuries, so having the bye week now is probably the best time to have the bye week. There's a lot of things that go into this team being as bad as they are, but they are as bad as they are right now. So it is what it is. We 2-2. The Cowboys are 2-2, and the happiest man in the building, my guy George Carmi, leading the division. Well, I mean. I don't even know where y'all want to start. Like, I don't want to talk about the Eagles. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't want to talk.
We're definitely talking about the Eagles. We're definitely talking about the Eagles.
I know I got to.
Definitely gonna talk about the Eagles. We're gonna talk about Jalen Hurts.
Let's keep the conversation going where we were. You want to just continue because we were already arguing in the background, and you know it's a conversation that's going to happen, so we can talk about it. Your point was you thought that the Eagles are a worse team than the Dallas Cowboys. You're saying that the Dallas Cowboys are still a better team than the Eagles.
Right now, if I would say ranking the division right now, I'm going to say Washington, I'm going to say us, then y'all, and then the Giants. But we ain't that far ahead of y'all. I ain't hyping Dallas or saying Dallas is here or anything like that. You know, we didn't look great in our victory against the Giants. We won that game. I wasn't impressed. You know, we lost key players in that game, so we got to think about that from now. When I look at our team and y'all's team, even when y'all won that Saints game, it was at the last minute. You know what I'm saying? It was barely won that game. So it's not really none of your games have really been impressive. I ain't trying to even poop on the Eagles right now, but it's concerning. I told you, you know, I know what you said about the coordinators, but I told you that was going to be the thing at the beginning of the season. I said, them coordinators, you're going to have to see how Kellen Moore and Jalen Hurts mesh. Obviously, you had two big guys out, Smitty and A.J. Brown. But hey, when they said
Lane
Dallas,
Johnson. And
Lane Johnson too. Okay, but when Dallas had their guys out, they were like, I don't care. You Dak Prescott, make it happen. You supposed to be a franchise quarterback. Make all that happen. So I'm just saying,
did not have injuries like we did. Y'all injuries were not even. And they were on defense. Y'all injuries are on defense. Y'all didn't even have.
I'm talking about we've had offensive injuries last year. We've had offensive injuries. Yes, we have. We've been through those type of things.
That's what I'm saying. That's last year.
I mean, but we still went through it though. George just over there happy. I ain't hearing all that.
He is too happy. I am
feeling pretty good up here.
Is Dak Prescott playing? Is Dak Prescott playing better than Jalen Hurts?
The Eagles are not worse than Prescott.
Is Dak Prescott playing better than Jalen Hurts?
No.
No.
What?
Outside of turnovers, I mean, that's the only thing that he's doing.
What?
Jalen Hurts has more yards. He has more touchdowns.
That was the leading passer in the NFL.
We got to look at that. We got to. He might not have more yards. He has more yards than Mahomes.
Yeah, he was a leading.
I keep saying that stat, and it's got me a little bit too excited. But he's right up there. How many yards that got? I'm still taking Jalen Hurts.
I'll look it up right now.
I'm still taking Jalen Hurts.
Let me break it down.
I'm not taking Jalen Hurts on no Dak Prescott right now. No, sir.
I'll be straight up with you. I'll be a third party, an honest third party. Right? The
Uh-huh.
Commanders are playing the best in the division right now. That's a fact.
You wanted to say that.
You ain't
And
played
then the
nobody.
They played the Cardinals. They played the Bengals. Those are playoff teams potentially. They were coming into the
Oh
season.
yeah,
Coming
but you
into
played
the
a
season-
0-3
season-
Bengals team.
Dude, the Bengals will. Joe Burrow's still coming back. We'll see what happens with that. They're 1-3
Okay.
now. Y'all are 2-2, so chill out with that. By the way,
They just beat the Carolina Panthers.
okay, that's true. That's true. All right. I think the Cowboys are in better shape than the Eagles right now. The Eagles are banged up. Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown. I said it last week on the show. I got heat from the Eagles fans. The Eagles are looking broken this year. They look disheveled. They look like they're not really working on all cylinders. Kellen Moore, the offense isn't clicking with Jalen Hurts. A.J. Brown carries that offense. He's out, and now it's Saquon Barkley's show. If Saquon Barkley doesn't pop a 60-yard run, y'all in trouble for the Eagles right now. That's a fact, right? The Cowboys, though, the Cowboys got a murderer's row coming up on your schedule, and y'all aren't looking good. I'll be honest with you, that Giants game, I'm not even trying to hate. I respect it. You know that. That was one of the ugliest football games I've ever seen in my
Come
entire
on.
That was an ugly-ass game, and there was a penalty every 2 seconds. They barely beat the Giants, and on top of that, the Dable gave the game away because he wasn't aggressive. He was kicking field goals. He had 4 field goals, but could have gone for it on 4th and 1 and gone for it. They could have put that game away, but they were just so conservative. The Cowboys won, in my opinion. I think the Giants gave the game away as opposed to the Cowboys winning the game.
And can I defend my squad? Because the Eagles had injury after injury. Y'all were playing terribly and then had injuries. Let's be real. I mean, Micah Parsons got hurt, and y'all were already losing. Y'all already weren't playing well. Yeah, and DeMarcus Lawrence, he's old as hell anyways. He got hurt. Y'all already losing.
Brandon Graham ain't old. Brandon Graham is calling team meetings. Brandon Graham is calling team meetings. Brandon Graham is calling team meetings as soon as it. Brandon Graham. So did Tank. Tank got a sack before he got hurt. And Brandon Graham is calling. I'm saying, and Brandon Graham is calling team meetings after the game is over.
Somebody says
know who Mike
Eagles
Sellers
think
is?
Go ahead. I'm sorry, my bad.
My boy's Deuce in the chat said, he said Micah Parsons without Dan Quinn is Jamin Davis. You guys even know who Jamin Davis is?
Cut it out.
Cut
it out.
I love it.
Look, I'll say that the Cowboys and the Eagles are on the same spot. That's as much as I'll give you. I think we're right there. Like we're 2A, 2B. I don't think either of us are really that good right now. I'm gonna be real with you. I just can't say that the Cowboys are better than the Eagles. I just not after what they did against the Giants. And if you look at the one, y'all used to love to do this last year. If y'all look at the one common game, y'all got blown out. And we kind of beat them up. We just couldn't score a bunch, but we were beating them up defensively, especially.
Right, so, that's the problem. Y'all can't score.
Right now.
So, Joe, what's the deal with Jalen Hurts? Why are we all seeing all these turnovers right now? The criticism I actually like Jalen Hurts, but the criticism of him is he is on a super team. He's stacked with talent around him.
I'm glad you
can he elevate the players around him with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith gone, in your opinion?
In my opinion, right now,
what
Jalen Hurts is going through. What Jalen Hurts is going through right now has everything to do with him being indecisive, him wanting to prove people that say all this extra stuff about, oh, he's not a passer, he's not this, he's not that. It's him wanting to prove those people wrong. On top of that, it's a organizational problem because this is something we've seen through all different coaches, and we'll get to the super chat in a second. All different coaches. We've seen this with Doug. We've seen this with Andy. We can go all the way back then. Not really with Chip Kelly. He kind of did whatever the hell he was going to do, but we've seen this with a bunch of different coaches. So what's the constant is Jeffrey Lurie. They've said that they want a pass-happy team. Jalen Hurts is not that guy, and I will continue to say that. I've said that. He might, and we've said this in the background, and I'm going to be honest with the people that watch. Sometimes we don't say stuff on camera that we would say in the back, right? But this, I'll say it. I screw it. I wasn't going to say it, but I'll say it. I hope that Jalen has a Dak Prescott type of progression. Because Dak Prescott, to me, and this is my opinion, when he came out of school, when he came out of college, when he was at the situation or the year, I should say, that Jalen Hurts is right now, he wasn't the passer. He wasn't the pre-snap guy that he was right now, that he is right now, I should say.
That's true.
So I hope that Jalen Hurts has that type of progression. But right now, run the damn ball. Right now, if you look at where Dak was right now in his career, comparing it to Jalen, he had a premier rusher, right? He still had Zeke. You have Saquon, utilize him. And it's no knock on Dak. Y'all gave him time to progress into being a great pocket passer. Jalen's not there yet. Give him time. He has good weapons around him. Utilize the run game. So it has to do with everything. It's from the top to the bottom. The fact that Jalen, the fact that we ran the ball, I think less than 15, 16 times, I would have to look at the exact numbers, but the fact that we ran it so little against the Buccaneers, it just makes zero sense. And it screams, in my opinion, organizational problem. And next game, I bet you after the bye, we run it 5,000 times. Like, that's what we're going to do. We're going to win the game. And then the next game, we're going to go right back to what we do. So it pisses me off because it's an organizational thing. So that's where I'm at. James, you have a super chat real quick.
I mean, he's just saying, you saying, stop with the excuses. Eagles trash, Jalen trash. I ain't gonna say Jalen Hurts is trash. That's what I'm not gonna do. He's not a trash quarterback, so I would be lying if I said that. But he is struggling. He still holds the ball. They were saying that last year he was holding the ball too long in the pocket. And he's doing the same thing this year, holding the ball too long in the pocket. And it's hurting the team. And what they said, like 27 turnovers since 2023 or 22, something like that. Like, he's leading the league in turnovers, especially with them fumbles. And he's not really winning.
I don't mean to cut you off, but this morning I was talking about you, right? Like, in a good way. But 44 fumbles,
Damn.
and I think it's 39 interceptions or something like that. That's a lot. That's way more than 39. Way more than 39 interceptions. It was something like that, though. 44 fumbles, I think it was.
I'm looking at a stat right here. Jalen Hurts is one of just 4 quarterbacks with 4+ interceptions and 5+ fumbles in their first 4 games.
We have to bring that up, George. We have to bring
Trevor Siemian and Marcus.
And you saying he's better? He's playing better than Dak right now? How many interceptions does he have already this year?
I don't think Dak's playing that good either. All right, maybe that was
how is he not?
But
that's not true.
You look at Mahomes, he's playing the same way Jalen is.
We ain't talking about no Mahomes. We talking about Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts. We not Pat Mahomes. I ain't not no fan of no Pat Mahomes. I don't like the Chiefs. We talking about our 2 quarterbacks, and that's why I say that's where I feel like it separates our teams, because I do feel like our teams are kind of even. Our defenses are both not really good. Our offenses are kind of struggling. But if you look at what would be the factor that would take us over the top between us two, would be Dak Prescott to me, because if you look at even in our games, he hasn't played terrible in any of those games for real. The defense has put him in bad situations. That Ravens game, defense put him in bad situations. Now, I can't sit there and say, now we both having issues with the play call. We have Kellen Moore. Y'all got him now. Y'all dealing with that crazy stuff that we was telling you about with Kellen Moore. But I'm saying,
it's not
you still did. But what I'm saying is, though, Joe, it's still a new season with him and Jalen Hurts, and I feel like they are still trying to figure that out. And then when I told you about Fangio, I know you have players, but were they going to be able to mesh with this particular defense? Was it really going to happen? And I feel like that's struggling on both sides. And we also talked about, George, how if Sirianni don't get it together, he's going to be the one that's going to get the axe. And they're already talking about it in the streets.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. Go ahead, George.
Joe, are you concerned about your secondary? How do you feel about that? I think
I'm concerned about everybody. Real talk, I've said it before, and I've been one of the only people in Philly out here saying, or I'm not in Philly, but you know what I'm saying, in the Philadelphia Eagles fan base that was talking about Vic Fangio. I've been said that system was soft. I've been said that system, just because the guy that created the system's coming, that doesn't make me feel better about the system. So I wasn't excited about Vic Fangio, and I'm not excited about him now. He's very inconsistent. I will say there's some times where you look at the defense and it looks like they're in the right positions. A lot of the blame, though, goes to the players, man. You're out there missing every single tackle, it feels like. You're out there looking dumb. If I'm being 100% with you, you look like you don't want to play half the time. Maybe you're not in a comfortable position, but you're right there. Like they say with wide receivers, if you touch the ball, you should be able to catch it. Like, if you're right there, like, I don't care if you didn't feel comfortable in that spot. Like, you're there. You can make the play. Like, make the play. I don't get it. Like, there just seems like way too many excuses. They're getting mad at fans because we're mad at them. Like, it's soft. It just feels so soft. It
That
feels
sound like Dallas.
yeah, but even to your point, James, you said something and my girl brought it up, and I was like, damn, I hate that James might be right. But you said it. You were like that. Maybe Nick is too friendly with everybody. Maybe Nick is too nice to everybody, and they don't respect him because of that. And maybe it's true. Maybe the inmates are running the asylum out here in Philly because it just, I don't know. I hate to use that.
Is that the dynamic, Joe? Because I don't know that. I don't know that coming from a Commanders fan. Is he too nice on them? What's going on over there?
That's always been the Eagles' MO. That's always been our head coach. That's always been our culture. We have a guy that's, you know what I'm saying? He wants to be best friends with everybody. And he's like the CEO coach now. So that's all he does. All he does is worry about, he's HR. Like, that's what it sounds like. When they talk about what his job is, it sounds like he's just HR going around everybody, making sure nobody's making racy jokes. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't really know what he does. He didn't say a word to the team after the loss. When we lost last week, he ain't say, not last week, but the week before. He ain't say a word. When we won, he had something to say. Yeah. Bro, who are you? What are you here for? Who are you? A janitor?
He's gone, bro. He gone. I'm gonna tell you right now, he's gone. He gone. Yeah, he gone. Yeah, I mean, they can't bring him back. You think? I don't think that team. Yeah. I just don't think the team really respects him. Not to cut you off, Joe. I apologize. I just don't feel like your team really respects him like that. Maybe they say it on the outside, but I thought those cracks started last year when we saw the honeymoon is over. I told you that. Eagles fans, and I'm not hating on you Eagles fans, please don't start going crazy on me. But y'all was living off that Super Bowl appearance 2 years ago, and everything was going to be great, and y'all was going to do this. And I said, no, Joe, we got to see next year because it's always harder. They say it. Once you go to that Super Bowl, it's harder to return. And then everything kind of changes. And then you saw it. And then you saw the decline, especially after you had that 6-game losing streak. That still festers, much like if you talked about Dallas with that Green Bay Packer loss. It festered, it stayed, it didn't go away. And so when something happens, first thing that come up, you remember that Green Bay game. So they'll think about that. I mean, you got beat up by the Buccaneers twice. You feel me? Twice. You know what I'm saying? And so go ahead, George.
I said, just on top of that, too, once you come off that Super Bowl victory, people get those big contracts, too. And the big contracts, they mess up your dynamic on your team. A.J. Brown's getting paid. Hurts is getting paid. Devontae Smith's getting paid. It's hard to supplement that roster unless you hit all the draft picks. So that might be one of the dynamics there, too. Shout out to Colt Cowboys, by the way. It's my boy. I like Colt's Cowboys. He's funny as hell. I don't know if you guys ever messed with him.
Our defense just sucks. That's the only thing that
he said them Commanders fans leave him alone. Yeah, they've been blowing up my phone, too. I got about nine friends that are diehard Commanders. I mean, diehard Washington fans.
I'm not even mad.
And man, bro, they've been all in my inbox, blowing me up. I ain't really even mad because, like I said, it's the first part of the season, and I don't care what anybody says. I like Jaden Daniels. I like him. I like watching him. I like watching him play. I don't like the Commanders, but I do like watching them play. And I'm gonna keep it real. This is good for the NFC East. It's cool because now it's going to be competitive. And I don't think we talked about this, George and Joe. I think we may have, but I said I don't think anybody was going to win more than 11 games this season because I said it was going to be a tough division this year. So, and now I think you're starting to see that this was going to be a close race all the way to the end this year. And pretty much every game is going to be counting now, especially with Washington playing hot.
Let me ask George this first, because I know when it gets to me or James, it's probably become an argument a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. Which team do you think is more fixable right now for this season? Not looking at next season, because I think that Eagles and Cowboys fans can agree we're not where we want to be. No matter how far in we are, no matter how mad you are, how whatever you are, I think we're not where we want to be, not who we want to be yet. In your opinion, George, which team do you think can fix?
You just got knocked out, right?
You hit the button.
Yeah, I think I know what the question was. It's a tough one. So I'm going to say consistent. I think the Eagles' offense is super talented. A.J. Brown, top 10 wide receiver in the league. Saquon Barkley, top 5 running back in the league. However, there just seems to be there's not a lot of continuity there. There's a lot of there's a disconnect. There's bad coaching. I feel like it's going to turn on its head. So I don't know. That seems pretty unfixable in my opinion, right? But then you look over at the Cowboys. Dak Prescott's not playing bad. I've always talked to you, James, about I actually respect Dak Prescott. I think he's a good quarterback. He gets so much heat in the Cowboys circles because he can't carry the team in the playoffs. But he actually is a great regular season quarterback. The problem with the Cowboys right now is they don't have the big two. They can't run the ball and they can't stop the run. So that's not going to do well in the playoffs. What are you going to do?
We stopped the last game, though.
Because the Giants. I
I can say that with y'all with the Cardinals, though. I can say that with y'all with the Bengals. They didn't have no run game either. At the end of the day, you can say that, but at the end of the day, they had 23 attempts and only got 26 yards. And as much maligned as Mozzie Smith has been, and I've been on him saying he's a bust, he had his best game as a pro. He played like you're supposed to play as a first round defensive tackle. He was holding the point of attack. He played with good pad leverage. He was blowing up the line. He was getting in that backfield. He was doing what he needed to do. And going forward, you need that. But to sit there and say, yes, I do agree with you. Haven't stopped the run. But you got to look at some kind of a positive. And if you stop that run in that game, I got to lean on that maybe going forward.
And I'm sorry to cut you off, but I would say I feel like our fix is more so decision based. I understand. I mean, if they don't like Nick Sirianni, then that'll come out at some point. But right now, it hasn't. So I mean, every time you hear one of the outside of Jalen, there is sometimes, and we're all, I think, from urban areas, and we can kind of take cues. You know what I mean? I don't know how else to say that, but there's sometimes that Jalen Hurts says some things or doesn't say some things, and it's like, you know, like, I don't know. Maybe
he don't like Nick. He don't like Nick. Let's just say it. He don't like Nick, and let's just say it. Jalen Hurts is being the pro like Dak Prescott is being a pro, in my opinion. Dak ain't never going to throw nobody in the bus, and it looks like Jalen Hurts is being the same way. I'm not going to go out there and mess up the season and say things like that because that would derail the season. That would just put the whole season to fun. So he's doing the smart thing and just keeping his mouth closed. He might throw little digs if you got to catch him or this and that. But he's still, you know what I'm saying? But he's still doing it the smart way. If I were to say going forward, I would say our offense is better right now. Obviously, you got A.J. Brown and Smitty out, so that's making a difference. But you can see the Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb connection happen again. You still got Jake Ferguson. Hopefully, Jalen Tolbert has been playing better, too. And I feel there's that continuity. Dallas hasn't tried to run the ball. Now, they did try to run the ball in the Giants, and Rico Dowdell had 9 carries for 45 yards. Zeke looked fresh. I ain't hyping. I'm just saying it what it was. But I feel like maybe your things are fixable more on the defensive side because you got a defensive front. We have Micah out and Lawrence out. Okay, that and Dallas ain't going out and getting nobody else. So I feel like that's going to be a really big issue because you got to keep the linebackers clean. And you didn't have no kind of pass rush against Daniel Jones, and he was doing what he's doing. Nobody was scared of him. Nobody thought we was going to lose that game against him. But it's still concerning. Daniel Jones is almost throwing 300 on you. You feel me? And so you think, well, if you got a better quarterback, that's going to be a big problem because now if they're not stopping anybody, Dak's got to play superhero, and then he gets the bad rap if we don't win the game because he didn't bring us all the way back. But your defense can't keep putting your quarterback in them bad situations where he got to feel like he's got to come back and win the game every damn time.
So my boy Red Zone in the Lab said the Eagles are 3-13 in the last 16 games. I don't know how long Jaden can bite his tongue on Nick. That's a good point right there. It's interesting.
He's at fault too. Jalen got a lot of fault in it. I mean, like, it's not like Jalen's faultless. That's the thing. I feel like this team is so soft. Like, bruh, y'all all suck right now. It's not just the plays being called. It's the execution too. Like, you guys suck. You don't look good. So you can say that Jalen's bad. This guy's bad. Everybody's looked bad.
That's all. I'll throw that out there. From my perspective, y'all can educate me. I think the Eagles have more talent on paper. We got to see that produced, but they have more talent on paper than potentially the Cowboys. The Cowboys, you tell me, James, Dak Prescott's playing well. They got CeeDee Lamb, one of the best wide receivers in the league. Besides CeeDee Lamb, do you guys feel comfortable with the wide receiver position?
No, I don't. I mean, you got Brandon Cooks. Nobody's really scared of him. But I feel like Jalen Tolbert has played better. I know maybe people don't know about him. He's our third-round draft pick, and this is his third year. He has been making big catches. He can go deep, and he can play underneath. And I think you need to focus more on him. Maybe put some Brandon Cooks more in the slot so he can maybe be a bit more a speed guy, take guys more deeper. Jake Ferguson is a good security blanket. I think he's the most targeted tight end in the league right now. And he had like 7 catches in that game against the Giants. But right now, the only thing that's keeping our offense together is Dak Prescott. Let's just keep it real, y'all. Dak is keeping our team afloat.
I actually like Turpin. I know he's not necessarily like a big play guy, but as a gadget guy, as a guy underneath, I kind of like him as a punt returner. I think he's pretty explosive.
But we don't got it. Our coordinator is bad too, George. You feel me? Mike McCarthy, Mike Zimmer, they're stale, and it looks just like an old offense. And you got these other guys out here that are young and innovative, sending guys in motion. Keeping the defense off balance. It's not an off balance. It's kind of like what we're doing. And that's how teams get on it. And it just makes it stressful. You don't have explosion on the offense. You feel me? You got to be able to score like in 2 or 3 plays sometimes, not 10, 11 play drives. That can't keep happening. And we're relying on some damn Brandon Aubrey. Dog, that ain't going to do it.
Yeah. It's funny because I feel like we're the same, right? Like, I feel like just being like, yeah, no, I agree. And I feel like he's talking about the Eagles because that's like where we are right now. And it's crazy because we have Saquon. We're just not utilizing. So it sucks. If you would have told me at the beginning of the year, and my light just turned down, but it'll come back. Don't worry about it. But if you told me at the beginning of the year that I'd be sitting here looking at George so happy, looking down on the Eagles and the Cowboys, I would be like, yeah, all right. I would maybe believe you actually, because, the crazy things happen in the NFC East, but the way things are working out right now is just absolutely nuts. But shout out to everybody in the chat, man. We got 350 people in the chat between all the channels. The chat is going crazy. So shout out to all them.
Hey, I told you, George, not to cut you off, Big Joe, but I told you, George, Dan Quinn, I said his first couple years, y'all been hearing me say it. His first couple years, that first year, he gonna be probably y'all gonna turn up probably this year. Y'all got nothing to lose. You got the young quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Y'all where it's like, and you're building, and Dan Quinn is kind of like the perfect guy. You even said it yourself. So it's just kind of working hand in hand. And like I said, this just feels like RG3 year, his rookie year. You got both of them at the same build, slim. Both of them Heisman Trophy winners. Both of them, can scramble and run. And, but I think Jaden Daniels is a more accurate, better throwing quarterback than RG3 was when he came out. And I think that's the difference. Right there. I don't think your defense is playing great. But I just feel like the way your offense is playing, conservative and attacking at times, it helps your defense.
You just impressed me, James. You basically showed your football knowledge. You're exactly right, man. I think Dan Quinn, his whole thing. Respect. I got you. So I'm always throwing respect. Dan Quinn, I think he's a good CEO type of coach. He has a good staff. He builds up the staff around him. One of the 2 best hires that Washington had this year, Adam Peters, the GM, basically drafting these players. Adam Peters is a damn good-ass GM. He built the 49ers, step 1, right? Cliff Kingsbury as the offensive coordinator, he's handling Jaden Daniels beautifully, right? He developed Baker Mayfield. He developed Patrick Mahomes. He developed Caleb Williams. He developed Kyler Murray. He was part of all those quarterback rooms developing the guy. He might not have been the primary guy, but he was there for all of their development. We're seeing it right now. Caleb Williams is struggling in Chicago. All offseason long, we had some summer sessions together. All offseason long, we heard about how Caleb Williams is in the best situation ever for number 1 overall pick. He has Roma Dunze, he has DJ Moore, he has a Keenan Allen, he has DJ Swift. He's going to be so insulated. He is struggling. He's struggling every single week. He's throwing the ball. He's having turnovers.
He's overrated.
He's overrated right now.
I said it.
I actually thought he was pretty. Watching his tape, I thought he was pretty creative. I thought I don't know if it was a junior and senior year or sophomore. 2 years ago, his tape was better than it was last year, long story short. So he kind of regressed a little bit last year. They're forcing him to throw the ball down the field. I think it was like a stat where 20 passes of over 30 yards, like they're putting Caleb Williams' shoulder, only completed 3 of them. And he's getting sacked all the time. That's not what Cliff Kingsbury is doing. And that's what credit to you, James. They're doing these short passes. They're doing these within the line of scrimmages. They're doing these quick shots, and it's building up his confidence. And Jaden Daniels is a more accurate passer than RG3. RG3 was a superb athlete, like world-class track star, but he didn't have like the linear cutting that Jaden Daniels does. Jaden Daniels can shimmy, he's avoiding sacks, and he's pretty damn accurate. So right now, dude, do you guys know how many incomplete passes that the Commanders had in the past 2 games? Do you guys know?
12.
Nah.
4. They had 4 incomplete passes the past 2 games. He had 91%, 2 incomplete passes, or actually 6 actually. So he had 2 on Monday night and 4 the other day. So 91% on Monday, 87% on Sunday. Dude, he's cooking right now, and the offense is pretty good. So I'm happy with it.
You got that Brian Robinson too. We've talked about it. Remember when we talked about that, and some people were snapping on him saying ain't all that, and I said no. I would take Brian Robinson in a heartbeat. I watched that game with him, and he's a physical running back. That's the type of running back Dallas needs right now. We need a young, physical type running back that can really hurt that defense and then really let your quarterback really play ball. And that's what he is. He doesn't run out of bounds. I've seen him take guys head on. I like Brian Robinson, and to come back from getting shot and to see what he's doing, I give him his props.
The street credit right there. 100%.
Real talk.
Brian Robinson, he's one of my favorite players on the entire offense. He really is, because even with Sam Howell, he was the most impactful player last year. Is he a wide open, the Kashimi kind of jukey out of your socks kind of guy? Absolutely not. But he's a bruiser, as you're talking about, right? So him and Eckler are actually a good 1-2 punch. Brian Robinson has 2 100-yard games so far over the first 4 games. And I think he has like 3 or 4 touchdowns already. So Brian Robinson, he's actually a pretty damn good runner, and he's an underrated pass catcher. So, and I don't want to jump ahead of myself, but he's going to have a big year because they're going to utilize him how they used Alfred Morris way back in the day. If you guys remember what I'm talking about with the whole RPO and that zone read, RG3 and Alfred Morris, they're going to he's going to have optimal ways to run the ball because everyone's going to be focused on Jaden Daniels. He's going to have these huge gaps to run right through. And he's big enough to get 4 or 5 yards falling forward every time. So it's good.
And I keep seeing everybody saying, "Oh, but who have you played? Who have you played?" So all 3 of us. At the end of the day, I'm not hearing that.
Yeah,
I'm not hearing that this year.
Yeah,
the Ravens were 0-3 at a point, or 0-2 at a point. Like every team has looked beatable. Every team has looked good. Like it's been a really weird year. So I'm not hearing who you played. You played football. That's good enough for me. Like, right now, the NFL is just crazy. So let's. For a second, let's all take a breath, because outside of George, I think George is the only one that's enjoying this conversation right now. Looking at the rest of the NFL, because it has been a really weird year. Is there any other teams that you look at and be like, what the heck happened? I mean, I think off the top of my head comes up a team you played is the Bengals. It's like, what the heck is going on with them?
Yeah.
But outside of the NFC East, I guess, is there any more disappointments? Who else is maybe kind of disappointing you this year?
Can you disappointment?
The Jags.
A wow factor. The Jaguars, for sure. Jaguars.
We can do one of both. One of both.
Let me do a positive. I'll come back. The Vikings are impressing me. I'm going to start off with that. The Vikings are impressing me. Sam Darnold, comeback player of the year right now. He's looking good, man. I think he has 14 touchdowns. He's leading the league in touchdowns right now. Sam Darnold.
Ron, what's up? I'm sorry, George. I had to say what's up to my dog.
What's good, Ro? What's good, Ro? He's going to start yelling at us.
So he basically holds it down. So Sam Darnold, I like the fact that he's dude. When J.J. McCarthy went down, everyone thought the Vikings were going to go down. They're looking pretty damn good right now. The NFC North is a good division, guys. We're all NFC fans right here. The Packers, the Lions, the Vikings are all going to be pretty competitive. And the Bears, we'll see what happens with them. But the Bears, their defense is basically carrying them the whole way.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna say the Chiefs. I'm surprised that
I want to talk about Caleb Williams again, though. I want to talk about this Caleb Williams though, because they had a choice. They had a choice. They had a chance to pick Jaden Daniels. They said no. We're going to get this guy who's supposed to be generational. And I told people, and I'm not acting like I'm anybody, but when I saw him at USC doing all that damn scrambling, you're not doing that in the NFL. And that's what he has tried to do in the NFL. All these 4 games, try to scramble. It's not going to work, dog. And his deep ball accuracy, it's almost like Chicago's trying to prove that he can throw the ball and he can throw it deep, and it's not working. And y'all made a mistake, in my opinion. I know Justin Fields ain't crazy, but if they would have continued, if he would have had them receivers, Justin Fields, I just feel like, you know what, Caleb Williams, he's okay, but he ain't that guy. We'll see.
All I was gonna say is they keep like shitting on the fact that the Commanders have a weak schedule. We have the same schedule. Y'all realize that, right? There's only 4 games that are
Right.
different.
We're gonna play the same.
Yeah, we play 13 of the same 17 teams. So it's like it's gonna air out all in the end. Basically, the last 4 are all about where you place at the end of the season. That's all it comes down to.
And shout out to Dwayne Brown. James, you got a super chat.
All right. Oh, my dog Dwayne Browns. Hey, $20 Holly said, haven't supported in a while. Good show. Appreciate you, dog. This is a great show. This is a great show. And like I said, it's even better because now we could be just dogging the Commanders right now. Right now, he's on cloud 9. I'm gonna give it to you, George. But like I said, it's still week 4. It's a long season. Anything can happen. He still is a rookie. You know, he is going to go through some trials. He's a rookie. He is going to go through some little bumps in the road. So all I'm saying is I can't wait to play you Commanders. That is going to be a game. Dan Quinn coming back. That game more than Kellen Moore because Dallas already kind of played it. But that Dan Quinn game, I'm telling y'all, dog. That first one going to be live. That game going to be live.
My boy Deuce says this goes to the NFC East leader, George. I appreciate that, Deuce. My boy South says, who's the better running back, Saquon or Hurts? How do you feel about that, Joe?
Yeah, some haters, man. That's crazy. Why y'all hating so much, man? Listen, at the end of the day, the Eagles gonna be fine. Once we come out the bye, I really do believe this. If I'm being 100% honest, once we come out the bye, I think that we'll figure it out. We'll make the playoffs. Everything will be, all rainbows until we get into the playoffs, and we'll figure that out from there. But I knowing my team, they're gonna read the social media posts. They're gonna see what all the fans are saying, and all the fans are saying, run the ball. And that's what they're gonna do. That's who they are. That's what my team. And I don't know if I'm starting to love, if I'm starting to hate that, or what it is, but that's just what my organization does. They're gonna see, everybody's just saying run the ball, so run the ball. We're gonna run the ball, see what happens.
We'll see, Joe. I don't know about that, Joe. We're gonna see because, like I said, you have Kellen Moore. Listen, you got Kellen Moore now, dog, and I'm just telling you, I'm not sitting there dissing no Kellen Moore, nothing like that. Because when he was with Dallas, I wasn't dissing him. He would do goofy things at a time, but I'm telling you, Kellen Moore likes to throw the ball. He likes to throw the ball. And he might run a little bit, but he's going to go back to throwing that daggone ball. So, yes, you got Saquon Barkley. I'm telling you, it's going to be something that you're going to have to monitor, dog, because I know you saying that y'all feel that way. Y'all are Eagles. Y'all feel that way. But you got a guy who came over from Dallas, and it didn't work out. He went to the Chargers 1 year. Hold on. He went to the Chargers that 1 year. It was and now he's with y'all, and now it's so that's got to be looked at too.
I understand that, but a lot of this is going on Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore is handcuffed by a lot of things that Nick Sirianni does. Nick, this has been throughout Nick Sirianni's career. This isn't a one-off. This didn't just start happening, and that's what I think a lot of people aren't realizing. It's not on Kellen. Maybe Kellen will do that, but this is the same thing that we've seen the past 3 years. They refuse to use their running backs. It's just. You had DeAndre Swift, you barely used him. Like you had Miles Sanders, you barely used him. Like they basically get to 1,000 yards and they're like, all right, we're good. That was kind of weird. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we want to pass the ball. We don't want to run the ball. Like what was that? We don't like that. There was a year, and I'll never forget this. I think it was definitely in the Doug Peterson era. I want to say it was Green Bay Packers. I could be wrong about the actual game, but there was a game that we went out there and we blew out the team. Nobody thought we was going to win it. Might have even been the Saints, but we ran all over them. And there was a rumor that came out through the media that Jeffrey Lurie was upset about that. He was mad that we ran the ball so much. People brush that under the rug, but that's who the Eagles have been for a long time. They want a guy that can throw the ball. That's why we got Carson Wentz. Jalen Hurts, I like Jalen Hurts, but he kind of got into a situation where they didn't think that it would go how it went, and I don't think he thought it was going to go how it went. So here we are. You know what I'm saying? And
you didn't think that Wentz fall off was going to be that quick and that bad, and
real fast,
and losing Doug Peterson and all of that. I didn't think that was going to happen that quick, but you could see the downfall from Carson Wentz. But I don't think they was thinking Jalen Hurts was going to come in and do that. And once they saw a little bit, I think to me, Joe, I think it was them kind of justifying it. That's why they put Hurts and all that. okay, this is the reason why we did it because look at Jalen Hurts. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But it really was we really ain't have the choice to do it. So we're going to push it and make it say that this is what we wanted. All I'm saying is, like I said, I don't hate on Jalen Hurts. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. A lot of people knock him, but just watching his play right now to me is just very concerning because he doesn't look like the Jalen Hurts that he was a few years ago. It looks like he continues to go more down than up.
That's a fact. Like, I actually like Jalen Hurts. He's on my fantasy team, Joe. But he had 158 yards passing this week. He had less than 100 going into halftime. He looked really.
He looked bad, George. I know.
He looked
I
bad.
was there live. Yeah, it was bad, bro.
Joe, my question to you: do you think Sirianni is a good coach? And what does he do? I'm not trying to be a jerk. Like,
that's the thing.
Like the offense, right?
There's been so many times. For me, it's like we've seen so many times. Like I said, this organization seems to like these rah-rah, shish kebab type head coaches, the guys that's gonna get their players behind them to buy into whatever system, and kind of like what you said with Dan Quinn, that a guy that's gonna build a good staff and kind of have good minds coming in and out. They want Andy Reid back. That's what they've been looking for ever since they got rid of him. So do I think Nick's a good coach? I think that he built a good staff the first time that we made it to the Super Bowl. I think he built a very good staff. And ever since then, I don't know if it's him. I don't know if it's the ownership. I don't know if it's, Howie Roseman himself, but something's going wrong. And they keep picking guys that make no sense. They keep trying to pick guys that they wanted last year. Like, we got Vic Fangio because we wanted him last year, not because we wanted him this year, because he was the guy we were going to hire last year. So last year kind of felt like, we'll see what happens with Sean Desai, even though he was kind of doing okay. There was a lot of bad, don't get me wrong, but for a first-year defensive coordinator, I thought he was figuring something out. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of aggression, and sometimes when you're very aggressive, you can get caught, and he got caught a lot. You know what I'm saying? But I say all that to say I don't know if Nick Sirianni's a good coach. If your job is to build a good staff, if your job is to put your players in the best situation, emotionally, I guess, or, I don't really know what that whole, him patting people on the back, I guess just to be another leader. If you're supposed to be a leader, if you're supposed to be the guy that gets the staff together, you're failing at both. So I can't say you're a good coach. I can't. I
think he's patting everybody on the back because he want to be loved now. He want to make sure he's loved by your team. He want to be liked now, and I think the team ain't feeling that no more. I feel like they seen through that tough guy shit. They're the ones that see him every single day. They probably being quiet, like, man, this dude, just shut up. Because how many times do we see Jalen Hurts looking at Nick Sirianni like, shut up, dog, be quiet, stop doing all that talking. You seen it, Joe, when he would give him that little smirky little look, like, dude, be quiet, stop doing all that rah stuff. We trying to win these games. And I think that wore off in the locker room. I think, they are chilling. But if you have some big losses this year, I think that chirping is going to start.
Yeah. I think that the organization needs to change how they hire coaches. That's the problem. Like, we can get mad at Nick Sirianni, but I've said this to a lot of Eagles fans, and I'll keep on saying it. Nobody's going to want to hear it. Once we fire Nick Sirianni or he moves on, we're going to hire another Nick Sirianni. That's what we're doing. That's what we keep doing. That's what we're going to do. This is what we keep on hiring. So there's got to be a organizational philosophy change. There has to be.
Let's do this around the horn, right? I think it's all important to have that organizational philosophy you're talking about, Joe. I want to ask you, Joe, and I want to ask you, James. What are the identities of both of your teams? Like, if you had to put like a stamp on it, this is the Cowboys' identity. We'll start off with you, James, because Joe's been going off for a little bit. He's going off with you first. What's the Cowboys' identity? And I'll do mine too at the end.
I don't know our identity right now. I think that's what we're still trying to figure out. We're not a running team. Right now, we are a passing team, and we're a Dak team. That's what I feel like. Everything is relying on Dak playing good. If Dak doesn't play good on offense, we don't do nothing. And I don't know what our identity is on defense. I mean, hey, I'll give kudos to Dan Quinn. Even when he was there, we would get mad, but he was getting sacks, he was getting interceptions, he was getting turnovers. Now you got a Mike Zimmer over there, and, he was hailed as this guy's going to be more disciplined. You're not going to be able to run on us. You're not going to be able to do this. And that hasn't happened. And already people are like, and I already told y'all, he was too old for me. I told you that, Joe. He was too old for me, and I didn't want that oldness. But I said, hey, because he's been there, he's done that. Focus just on being a defensive coordinator. But I don't see no identity on this defense. Are we getting after the quarterback? No. You only had that against the Browns, and they're not good. Okay. Are you really stopping the run? No. You did it against a bad team. So what are we? We're not attacking. We're just, I don't know what we are. We're a team right now, to me, that's one-dimensional. We're self-reliant on Dak. And if the team defense is not playing good, it feels like Romo all over again, where the defense, Romo, they come down, we score, and then the defense gives up a quick score, and then he got to come back and play superhero. That's not going to work. You're going to play those good teams. That's not going to work against them. And I just don't like it. And that's why I'm going to keep on saying, I know Cowboys fans don't want to hear it. That's why I be saying lame duck, because it's a deception right now, in my opinion. We're beating teams that are not good. You feel me? And we need to beat them good teams. And right now, this next stretch, you got Pittsburgh, you got the Niners, you got Detroit. That'll tell us more about this Dallas Cowboys team.
Yeah, before I say what our identity is, I just want to say I think it's so funny and so ironic how you see so many Cowboys fans in the chat talking about, oh, if we had those weapons, then talking about when Dak's weapons got injured and his stats, then talking about Jalen Hurts getting so much grace. Oh, y'all tell you so many excuses. Y'all don't understand. Y'all should identify as just contradictionary or whatever. Y'all contradict yourselves so much in the comments. It's hilarious, but we got over 400 people in the chat. So shout out to everybody.
But Joe, you killed me last year or the year before when Dak had them interceptions. You was killing me on them interceptions. Every video, Joe. What about them Dak interceptions though? What about them turnovers? What about them turnovers? Now it's flipped, and now you don't want to hear it. No, you gonna get that work because you was on Dak Prescott about them interceptions 2 years ago, and you gonna get that work with Jalen Hurts and all these damn turnovers because he's leading the league, and you're not gonna get away from it. So I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, it's all right. It's one loss. We're gonna come back and win this division. So I'm
how many interceptions does he have right now? Just tell me that.
Too many, way too many. I think.
I want to know the actual stat. George, find that for me. Somebody find out how many interceptions he has right now.
I got you. I'm interested. So Sanjay can kind of talk a little trash in the chat. He's saying
Sanjay, a Raiders fan, he always talking trash.
Is that what he's talking about? He's saying that Jaden is not the best quarterback in the draft right now. Like, who else would it potentially be? He's hating on Caleb.
He got four interceptions. Yeah. Y'all make it sound like he got 4,000. Yeah, man, he ain't got that many interceptions. You had me tripping.
4 games, 4 interceptions.
That's true. That's one. Plus the fumbles too. He said 4 games, 4 interceptions.
You said 5 fumbles, right?
Yes. God damn. Man, come on.
We're talking turnovers.
My bad.
You're supposed to be third party. You said neutral.
He got to keep it real.
Keep it real facts every time. So I'll give you a break because I know you've been getting heated. Right? You got a lot of heat on your way.
Bruh, it is what it is.
I think that the Commanders' identity is a power running team. And I think that's what they're going to do with Brian Robinson. I think Jaden Daniels, he's kind of a cheat code on 3rd and short. Like I think like 3rd and 4, 3rd and 2, they can do that bootleg and they can do whatever they want with him, which I think is always going to prolong the drives. Guys, we only punted one time over the past 3 games. Our offense is moving. We scored on 23 drives over the last 3 games as we're cooking in regard to that. I think on defense, we're still trying to figure things out. Our secondary, I'm worried about that. We'll see. I heard that Dan Quinn and Joe Witt were the DB whisperers. I haven't seen that yet. Our DBs are still kind of soft right now, so see what happens.
I feel like you trying to find something to be mad about. You look so happy. I can't stand it.
Yeah, he happy as hell. He happy as hell. He happy as hell right now. He is happy as hell.
But the juxtaposition, you remember what? I think it was like the first week that we actually did the show. We did
my picture until y'all talking shit to me. I was like,
exactly. Now look at it. Now look at you. All right. So identity wise, to actually answer that question, I extended it so long because my answer is really similar to James. To be honest, we don't know. We don't know who we are. Right now, we should be a running team. That's what we should be. We should be the team that runs the ball 30 times a game, and then you let AJ Brown and Devontae Smith cook when they, you know what I'm saying, when you off the play action, off, you know what I'm saying, what off motion that they're thinking, oh, what's gonna go here? What's gonna go? You're like, utilize your players. So we should be based off the run. We should be a team that slows it down, especially with our defense. We're not a great defense. I mean, no matter how you slice it. So you're a team that should be trying to keep your defense off the field as long as possible, right? I think that honestly, the Commanders have done a great job of doing that, of just keeping your defense off the field. So
yeah, that's the name of the game because our defense is trash right now. We had a great game against Kyler Murray, but we've been bad all year. It's funny, Bears talking mad smack, said we're going to win 8 games all year long. There's 13 games left. In order for us to win 8 games for the season, we have to go 5-8 the rest of the year.
that's happened before.
It's happened before, but not with this type of team that we have with Jaden Daniels. It's not going to happen.
Oh, you don't calm down.
He up there, bro.
Realistically, let's say
He come. I can't wait. I can't wait till Jaden Daniels has that. Hey, I can't wait till you come on this show, George. When Jaden Daniels has that bad game, we're gonna light your ass up. We're gonna light your ass up. And you know what you're gonna say? He's a rookie.
Somebody said he was bad at LSU. What? Dude, he had 4 interceptions at LSU. 4. He's risk averse. He doesn't throw picks. He has 1 pick on the year, and that's because he's greedy last game. He's actually doing pretty good. So
yeah, he's doing good. He is doing good. We're just giving you a hard time. We happy for you.
Right. It's fun.
Y'all are doing way better than anybody thought. I mean, there's 430 people in the chat right now. I don't think any of them put any money on the Commanders being the leaders of the NFC East right now. That, it's funny. Somebody came into my job today and was like, how much money do you think I would win if I put down money on the Commanders
for real, man,
to be in the first place right now? Like, how much do you think you would have won? So, I mean, hey, that's the name of the game. Any given Sunday.
Who y'all got next, George?
Who we got next? We got the Browns next. The Browns.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, Lord.
4-1.
Okay, can you give me your next 3 games, please? Give me your next 3.
I think it goes, and that's why I'm saying I'm excited. You guys are like, oh, they're going to win 8 games. It goes Browns, the Ravens, which is a good team, the Panthers,
oh, Lord,
the Bears, the Giants, and like other team after that. So like we could go on like another. I mean, conservatively like 3-2 over the next 5 games, and that'll be 7-3 going into the trade deadline, which is fantastic. So we're looking Browns.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that right quick. Let's talk about that right quick.
What?
Let's talk about that right quick because I remember Big Doug. He made him a little post out there talking about maybe trying to get some receivers and trying to get rid of maybe some Jonathan Allen, some Deron Payne. And I remember George told me at the beginning of the year, don't even be talking about that, James. That ain't even gonna happen. That ain't never even gonna happen. But guess what? I said draft picks talk, money talks. You know what I'm saying? That talks. The only thing it wouldn't talk is because both those guys are good players. And I don't know if they would trade them in the division being good unless you got a big haul. But I'm gonna lean on Seth Joyner once again. Seth Joyner knows what the hell he's talking about. Seth Joyner said, if you trade a said player in the division, that said player ain't good. Look at Jahan Dotson. He ain't doing jack poo. And let's look at Jordan Phillips. We deactivated him.
So I know that's a topic of conversation. You want Jonathan Allen on your team. It might happen.
Hell yeah.
It might happen.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. This is what I was gonna say. Going into the last 2 games, I thought the team was going to be around 500 going into the trade deadline. The trade deadline is November 5th, right? That's when it happens. So November 5th is the trade deadline. I thought Washington would be hovering around 500. And Adam Peters values draft picks. Jonathan Allen is on the last year of his contract. I think maybe the second to last year. Like next year, he has no more guaranteed money, so he can get cut without a huge penalty, right? That's what John Allen. So I thought he was going to be a trade candidate coming up at the trade deadline. The trick is, though, if Washington is winning, if Washington is,
they won't do it.
7-3 or something. Why would you sell players at that time? It doesn't make any sense, right? So they might be buyers as opposed to a seller. A lot of people keep talking about, hey, maybe it could be both. Like my boy Deuce, Red Zone in the Lab. You guys should definitely follow him on YouTube. Great content too. He was talking about balance. Maybe they could trade Jonathan Allen, but also get someone else. There's Devontae Adams that's floating around there. There's Amari Cooper that's floating out there. There's Kyle Pitts that's floating around there. Deontay Johnson from the Panthers. Any of those guys coming over to Washington could help out Terry McLaurin and maybe give us a good little playoff push as well. So we have no idea what's going to happen. I don't like selling at the deadline, but maybe you guys are talking about like privileged players, people getting angry about being on the team. The team's buying in. Jonathan Allen wasn't drafted by Dan Quinn. He wasn't drafted by Adam Peters. He's from the old regime. And we saw that rant he had last year. He was angry. Like, I've been 7 years, I'm pissed off. If he's not going to produce, he might be a casualty. Like, they don't care. If you're a Ron Rivera pick, they're out of here. Dude, you saw Jahan. I love Jahan Dotson.
Yeah.
He's on y'all. They got rid of him instantly. I mean, they don't care.
Dog, we really.
Yeah.
Y'all want him back?
Let me tell you,
Y'all can have him back.
Hey, look, check this out. I'm gonna just call myself like Confucius, or I see things in the world. You feel me? I damn near guess all Dallas free agent picks, who they gonna pick, and I've already been putting in the air about Jonathan Allen. Now we may not get him at this year because of y'all's record, like you said, but I'm gonna tell y'all what, Cowboys, y'all listen to me. I've been screaming Jonathan Allen in the air, and I know they be looking at tweets because the Cowboys player, Demarion Overshown, he kept on saying, we ain't like hearing the word soft in the streets and in the media. That means you listen to us. You ghost watch, you listen to us, because we was all calling y'all soft. So y'all was like, we ain't like hearing that. Well, here it is, front office. You got Jonathan Allen right there. You can still get him, or you just heard George say, Devontae Adams. I don't give a hell how old that man is. Bro, y'all trying to win? Put a Devontae Adams with a CD Lamb and watch us cook.
I'll give you credit. I think Overshown's a pretty damn good player. I watched him on Thursday night. He was all over the place, even on special teams. He was a good player straight up, right? I don't understand why, besides hate, I don't understand why Lord Nova would say they're not going to Washington. Why wouldn't a wide receiver or a talented player want to go to Washington right now?
Thanks. He just
Wow, Jaden Daniels is an up-and-coming quarterback.
Yeah.
He'll come in as a wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 off the break. There's a hole to get.
And y'all got a whole new owner, and that's the difference too. You got a new owner, and let's talk about that. You know, with ownership, it means a great deal. You were just mentioning it yourself, Joe, about the ownership. Ownership makes a big deal. That's the reason why we're held back, because our owner is goofy. We're talking about, well, you can make a trade right now. You see we kind of lack, and you see the team is you putting that all on deck. Give him some weapons. Give him a Devontae Adams. Get rid of them couple picks, because you're going to have a plethora of picks next year. Show you serious. You feel me? Go out there and get a D tackle or edge that mean, you know what I'm saying, that's turning up. They said you couldn't, Hassan Reddick is over there, but they're like, no, we ain't going to get him. He's too expensive. See, that's what I'm saying. And when you always are saying he costs too much, Dallas ain't going to go over the top, because when you play them other teams that say, we don't give a hell, we're going to go get them players. When you play them teams like playoff time, that's when that stuff shows. When you didn't get them guys that you should have got early in the year, it shows later at the end of the year, them big games and when playoffs come. So that's what pisses me off about this team. Y'all really want to do it? Y'all still living off that old-ass Amari Cooper trade 2,000 years ago. Stop talking about that. Go out there and get some nuts and go out there and get a Devontae Adams or a big dog that can help your team right now and say, so what if Michael Parsons is them coming back? We got this, guys. We serious. We trying to really go somewhere. When you don't do that, that just makes me sick.
James, are you all going to be buyers or sellers at the trade deadline? What are y'all going to do?
We ain't doing shit.
That's true, though, right?
Show me, Dallas. Show me we doing something. Yeah. He was just, like I said, he's nothing but headlines. Yeah, see, I told you we was all in on Dak and CD. We known that. I mean, it would have been the dumbest move in the world to get rid of Dak. So who are you trying to impress that you signed your top guys? That's nothing to be impressed about. All teams are signing their top guys. That's not impressive. What's impressive is that you get some few free agents that continue to make your team great. Because what's happening, guys, is we keep on getting these rookies, right? You put all that damn stock in them rookies. And you're putting a big gamble because these rookies ain't played. Tyler Guyton been getting his ass whooped. I like Tyler Guyton, but he been getting his ass whooped. He got his ass whooped against some Giants. Them as rookies, they never seen this. So you putting all them stock in them young guys, putting all that pressure on them. Man, I don't like that. You need to have some guys who've been there and done that can help these rookies along. You might have a really dog rookie, but if you got that dog free agent with them too, it helps them along. You let Stephen Gilmore go. He's over with the Vikings. He went over there and made some plays. Deron Bland went out. He could have slid right in, and then Kalen Carson could have slowly came into it. Y'all feel me, dog? And that's what holds Dallas back. Those moves or non-moves right there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not too mad about what the owners do, but we got to figure this shit out on the field. We got to figure that. We just got to get healthy. Realistically, once we get healthy, our offense, in my opinion, will be able to compete with anybody. I mean, they have before. We won games ugly because our offense can score with anybody. But our defense, I don't know what they're gonna do. We need to figure it out on that side of the ball. But I mean, we can score, so I'm not too worried about it. Once we get Lane back, once we get especially Covey, get our special teams back in order too.
How long is he going for? How long is Covey going for? He actually played pretty well.
Yeah, 5 more weeks. He's going for 5 more.
Okay.
He's on IR.
Damn.
So I mean, it's just and then you lose Lane Johnson. To me, you could play a game without AJ and Lane and Devontae, but when you don't have Lane Johnson, I don't know. It's just different. It's just different. But I will say this one last thing: the Eagles, and I know you guys love to call Jalen Hurts a run first quarterback, and that's what he is realistically right now. The Eagles are 23-3, I believe, is the number when Jalen Hurts runs it 9 or more times. So I'm okay with him being a run first quarterback. I really don't give a damn what he does first. I really don't care. He's going to throw the ball every now and then. I really don't care about his numbers at the end of the year. I want to win a Super Bowl. So utilize him the correct way. That starts with the coaches. It's time to really do what the heck we're supposed to do. And I think the Eagles will be fine. That's it.
Let me throw a couple things out. So shout out to the chat, by the way. Great content, great information. Chris Johnson's right. Chris Johnson said Amari Cooper has less than $1 million money on his contract right now. The Browns just today renegotiated their contract, loosen things up. That means he's going to be traded, right? That's definitely one thing. And my boy,
to Philly.
Come to DC. No, it doesn't matter. All right, but then over here, so Red Zone in the Lab said, my boy Dude said Antonio Pierce just liked a tweet saying that Adams has played his last game in Vegas. So yeah, that's spicy right there. So yeah, so
I can see it because Devon he don't want to be there, y'all, and y'all all know that. He don't want to be there. You feel me?
Did y'all watch Receiver? Y'all watch that, right? The documentary?
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't feeling it. He wasn't feeling it at all. He was like, my life is being threatened being on the Raiders right now. He wasn't feeling it. So yeah.
So what would you?
And he wants that energy back. Would you? What would you do, George? I'm gonna tell you. Would you give up? What would you give up to get a Devontae Adams?
That's a tricky part because he's awesome, right? Devontae Adams is Devontae Adams, but
he's older,
and he has a huge contract on him too, right? So like, I don't know. Maybe I'm cheap. Like I wouldn't a 3rd round pick, 4th round pick. I wouldn't want to give up much more than that, right? Because you could always draft wide receivers in this league. Like I feel like that's a smart thing to do. I think it's always smart to have at least one wide receiver every year in the draft class. You're seeing them. How good is Malik Neighbors, by the way, right? We're watching him go out there and dominate. Nasty, right? Jalen McMillan on the Bucs. We're seeing some good players that are out there thriving. So it's hard for me to go after Devontae Adams. We can just draft one later on. But if the price is right, then potentially get it, right? Deontay Johnson's a little bit younger on the Panthers. I don't think he's as expensive, but like Devontae Adams is so much better. But we just need a reliable number 2 to take off the pressure because people double Terry because he's actually pretty damn good. We need someone to bounce it on the other side. But I don't know. Would you?
He wouldn't be good for y'all, dog. He wouldn't be good. He wouldn't be for y'all. He'd be good for us. And you know why? Because you got that rookie. Yeah, because you still got that rookie, Jaden Daniels. I see
frustrated. He's frustrated.
Him a scary third. Yeah, he's gonna want his touches. And I feel like if he came over in Dallas, I don't think CeeDee Lamb would be tripping on that. I just got paid. You feel me? So I ain't gonna be tripping on you. We trying to win. And Devontae Adams is going to get that ball. Just like when Amari Cooper came over, Dak started getting them that ball. And I feel like he will be revived coming in Dallas because, hey, people say what they want, but Dak's a damn good quarterback. And if he's, doing it with CD and a Devontae Adams and you still got your tight end, you see how important that tight end is. Joe knows his tight end been keeping y'all offense afloat. You feel me? Goddard. So you get them 3. It helps, and then you can go back to that run game a little bit. But we need. I feel what you're saying, George, about drafting receivers because you can get them young guys, and that's why I was like, don't pay Michael Gallup and things of that nature. But in this point, with the coach we have and Mike McCarthy,
y'all are more. You guys are more finalized down the road. This might be. I don't want to be. This might be your last hurrah, right? Mike McCarthy might get fired at the end of the year, right? So it's kind of like,
yeah. Oh, he ain't gonna get fired. They just ain't renewing the contract. They ain't renewing this. He's not getting his contract renewed, dog.
You never do a lame duck coach going into one season. That's a bad look altogether, right? So I think Jerry Jones is trying to push him like, you have to win or you're going to get fired potentially. So we'll see what actually happens. So I don't know. I mean, I do think a veteran wide receiver would do better on your team than potentially ours because we are year one of a rebuild. I think this is the kind of year where we figure things out. Then going into year two of Jaden Daniels, if we actually are continuous, then we just like the Texans, they got Stephon Diggs out of them to a pretty well built team. Daz is right though. I like what Daz is saying over and over again. He's saying Devontae Adams to the Jets. That makes a lot of sense too, though.
I would take Cooper for the Eagles.
Yeah.
Imagine that 3.
Cooper's
Amari Cooper. Amari
That
Cooper.
3? Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it real. People are talking about getting Amari back. I just feel like I like Amari, but it just a lot of damage was done. I don't know how it's going to happen. How it will formulate again. You know what I'm saying? But I think I'm with you, George. If I was to get a Devontae Adams, I'm not doing more than a 3 because we've seen these top guys not going. They ain't going for 1s and 2s anymore. You feel me? They're going for 3s and 4s, multiple 3s, and maybe
it's
a player.
For 1 year. It's not even a big deal. You know what I'm saying? It's not a long-term deal. It's 1 year. So, yeah.
Take Donovan Wilson. Take Donovan Wilson. Please take him. And I'm going to just say this right now, Cowboys. I'm going to say this right now. I sent y'all on the show. Y'all cut my boy Julius Woods, who was turning up, going crazy in the safety position. Donovan Wilson ain't did nothing. My dog Rome, if he's still in there, he was talking about, what about trading him? I was like, I jumped on that train quick, like, yeah, let's trade him because he's more one-dimensional. You got a deep safety room. And you kept this tight end named Brevin Spam for whatever the hell his name is. He's undrafted. He ain't been doing nothing. So you gave up on a young safety 4-year deal. Y'all gonna regret that. I just want to jump out there and say that y'all kept Izzy Mukambo. He's on the roster and you don't even play him. And don't let that dude Andrew Booth play again. I think I'm just venting now. I'm sorry, y'all. Don't let Andrew Booth play again. I don't want to see him on the field.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to everybody in the chat, man. 450 people is tally. Yeah,
that's what happens when the Commanders win. Everybody want to jump in here and talk now.
Everybody hype now. Yeah. Screw all y'all. I'm mad. It's a bad day for me, but I got over with it. Y'all got anything y'all want to say to these hating ass people? Usually I say beautiful, but they some haters today. So anything y'all want to say to these beautiful people before we get out of here, y'all?
I'm going to be nice. Much respect to all of them. Actually, that was a good conversation. It was actually a good conversation today. And I was talking to James. So me, James, and Joe are boys offline. We talk all the time. And I told him, I was like, the Commanders being good is good for the show because it's this good, healthy banter. We can all BS and have a good time. It's more fun when the NFC East is good, y'all. So I'm happy to be here.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to second that. It's always good when the NFC East and when even if we weren't doing this, it's still good for the NFC East because it's the backbone of the NFL to me. The NFC East, whenever the NFC East is good, football is good for real. And I want people don't take this as throwing color in it, but I am happy to see you got Dak Prescott, you got Jaden Daniels, and you got Jalen Hurts, all African-American quarterbacks, and I like that, seeing that in the East. I can't front. I do like seeing that even if it was other, I like seeing that, and it's just made it exciting. I'm excited because, I'm finding myself peeking at them Washington games now. Before, I wouldn't give a hell about a Commanders game because they weren't watching. But now that they have Jaden Daniels, I watched that Cardinals game. You know what I'm saying? I pretty much watched the whole game. So it's made it exciting. When the Eagles play, I watch the Eagles. You know what I'm saying? I don't watch the Giants. Giants, y'all suck. I don't watch y'all. But I do watch Eagles. I do watch Washington. I'm keeping my eyes on Washington now. And I'm watching things. So it's good that this is all kind of real tight in the division. And it's just going to make it for a healthy talk, going down the line. So I'm excited. And shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Super Chats. Y'all are awesome. 450. We keep on going up. Let's keep it going higher than this next week.
Yeah, and I like to always end it with a nice comment. Shout out to TA Cowboys for booing me. I appreciate that so much. But no, shout out to Rico Jones saying fire content. Bam, bam, bam. That's what I think of whenever I see that. But no, I appreciate all you guys so much. I didn't mean to put that up. But no, I appreciate everybody so much, man. The chat was live. If it wasn't me losing, I probably would have had so much more fun. But we'll be back next week, and I promise you we ain't losing next week because we on a bye. So I'm watching y'all teams like a hawk. If y'all better not lose a possession. I'm talking. I can't wait. But no, I appreciate it so much, man. We'll see y'all next week. But y'all know that's my guy James. That's my dog George. And we are the best of enemies. Peace.
Peace.
We're brothers. We're happy and we're singing and we're colored.